The conversation was buzzing this morning here at the Kia training ground. Everyone wanted to get player reaction to the question, is Sebastian Giovinco the biggest snub in MLS history when it comes to the MVP category? And you can even add Drew Moore to that list of being left off, head coach Greg Vanney as well. And this team has accomplished so much throughout the duration of the season, and yet they're not concerned about individual accolades. Rather, they want to hoist a different trophy at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's some serious snubbage. The team's focus, they know the most important thing at this time of year is lifting the MLS Cup and standing on that podium on December 10th. I think for me personally, Giovinco, he's been by far the best player in this league. 17 goals, 15 assists in his second year, which makes that all the better. Teams know about him this year. Coaches are coming to Toronto and trying to stop Giovinco, and he still finds ways of moments of brilliance, just opening a game up. Drew Moore, since coming here, he's been top-notch. He's a big reason why TFC have the second best defensive record in the league this year. He's been consistent, which is so important for a center half. He's played with different partners. He's played in different systems. Nothing's fazed him whatsoever. And Greg Vanney, each year as head coach of Toronto FC, the team keeps progressing nicely, and this year he's taken it to another level. He's had to deal with a ton of injuries, international call-ups. He's relied on everybody in the squad, and the team's firing on all cylinders in different systems under Greg Vanney, and he should come to that conversation for Coach of the Year.
I think when it comes to Sebastian Giovinco being left off the MVP ballot, perhaps it's like LeBron James in the NBA. You know, every year he should be winning the MVP, but they try to make it fair for everyone, right?
Should not the best player be the MVP, though? It's an easy one.
Yes. Okay, so we know that David Villa was being looked at by the MLS disciplinary committee for the kick out on Armando Cooper in the first leg at BMO Field. It has come down that he has kind of escaped a bit of punishment. He will be available for selection this Sunday at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, well said, escaped. He's a lucky boy, and as an ex-pro, a washed-up player, I hate to see a player retroactively get suspended by the panel. For me, Petrescu, the referee, he's 5 yards away from it. He blatantly sees David Villa kick out at Cooper. He needed to get a red card right there. From a player's perspective, I think one thing you do want is consistency, and Armando Cooper, he got suspended retroactively for a lot less than that. So that's what disappoints me, but hopefully this now sets a standard, and moving forward we won't see players retroactively suspended as much.
Well, that's something that Michael Bradley said as well, and he said this doesn't change anything from our side, business as usual.
I'll be honest, I couldn't care less in terms of whether he plays, doesn't play. It doesn't change one thing for us, and ultimately it all gets filed under the category of things that are out of our control and things that we shouldn't be spending 1 second or 1 ounce of energy worrying about.
TFC did such a commendable job in the first leg in terms of managing David Villa. They limited him to just 30 touches and essentially denied service to him. Is that something that they could replicate in the second leg as well?
Yeah, exactly. I was so impressed with that. TFC worked so hard in the middle of the park and out front to stop any quality going into New York City's front three. I loved how proactive Zavaleta and Hagelin were with their defending. They were right up against Harrison and Villa, making them go the other way when service did come into them. Also, Michael Bradley did a fantastic job of back-checking, putting out any fires, taking the ball off these players' toes, and then keeping TFC in possession. And this resulted in wave after wave of TFC attacks because we turned the ball over and picked up so many second balls.
We know how strange it is going to Yankee Stadium. The field dimensions there, it really throws off your depth perception, how close you are to the people next to you. And it's been quite some time since TFC has been there, back in March the 13th to be exact. So how does Greg Vanney prepare for this matchup tactically?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I've played there. It's a little bit ski with the dimensions of the stand. It feels like you're playing on the diagonal, and it's such a small pitch, and you're going there, don't forget, with a 2-0 lead, so the tactics are important. I think you need to get the right balance of attacking and also defending. It's important that TFC don't sit back and let New York City come on to them because it's such a small pitch. A lot of the plays are broken and anything can happen, so picking up that second ball is important. In midfield, you might go with a Will Johnson or Benoit Cheru just because they give you a little bit more defensively. Will Johnson, he's a a little bit more two-way player than Jonathan Osorio. He's also got a ton of experience in games like this, and you're protecting that 2-goal lead. You could also go with Benoit Cheroux, who's very good in close quarters, which will suit that Yankee Stadium. Again, he's got a ton of experience, but in the back of his mind, I'm sure Greg Vanney will be thinking, if it ain't broke, don't change it. I don't think he changes anything with the back three of Michael Bradley or Clint Irwin. Up top, I love it how we're playing with the two. One of the few teams in the league that play with the two. It gives you that attacking option, but it also stops New York City coming out easily.
Well, these are some advantages of Toronto FC being fully fit and healthy. Greg Vanney can use his squad to his advantage in the depth that they have shown all season long, specifically the options in the midfield with Will Johnson and Benoit Cheroux.
Both of them, you get a ton of experience. You get guys who've played in big matches in a lot of different places. Guys who probably have a little bit more of a defensive mindset at times than say an Oso or even Armando at times. But you get a lot of experience. You get some grittiness that goes back in there with the other guys. So there's a lot of guys who are chomping at the bit and are looking for some minutes to try to be a part of it, and that's a good thing for us.
Well, we know that you guys are getting anxious for kickoff on Sunday, so rest assured there's only 4 sleeps away until that matchup. Yankee Stadium, 6:30 p.m., taking place on TSN. Gareth Wheeler will also be traveling to New York. He will have the call on TSN 1050, and we will be back up at the Kia Training Grounds tomorrow with some more coverage for you, so keep it locked at TorontoFC.ca.